Life in the spotlight can be a dream or a curse. Sometimes, the most glamorous photos and the biggest stages hide quiet resentments and electric tensions. For Rihanna, Kendall Jenner, and A$AP Rocky, those hidden currents have surfaced in a way that's impossible to ignore. A lot of fans already know Rihanna's never been best friends with Kendall, but few realize how deep that dislike goes, or why. Now that A$AP Rocky is caught in a legal battle that can tear his life apart, the dynamic might be about to shift in ways nobody expected. Everything about Kendall and Rihanna's story sparkles with rumor, speculation, and the occasional shady social media post. But behind every tweet and every public snub, there's a kernel of truth. Some say Kendall has been secretly waiting for the perfect moment to get her revenge after years of Rihanna's side eyes and cold stares. Others insist Rihanna had every right to keep Kendall at arm's length. But if you peel back each layer, you find the kind of tangled relationships and emotional twists that seem almost scripted. Except no one could make this up. Whether Kendall genuinely resents Rihanna or simply can't stand that the singer repeatedly shut her down, there's one factor no one can ignore: A$AP Rocky. Rumor has it Kendall was once closer to Rocky than either of them ever admitted publicly, and that the entire triangle of tension stems from these complicated personal ties. Now, with Rocky potentially facing a mind-blowing sentence, some believe Kendall might see it as karmic payback. The question is, how did we even get here? Rihanna might be the coolest star in the room until you cross her. Over the years, she's never bothered to hide her annoyance towards certain people. One of those people appears to be Kendall. Tracking down the exact moment of friction takes us back to a tweet Kendall wrote as a teenager. Back then, Kendall openly declared she'd be very upset if Rihanna didn't sing her favorite track at a concert. It seemed innocent, but Rihanna's response was anything but. She basically told Kendall if she wouldn't get the performance she wanted, she shouldn't bother showing up at all. That was the first sign something deeper was brewing. It's not that Rihanna is always petty. Plenty of fans see this as her normal sense of humor. But in hindsight, a single dismissive tweet can be the spark that sets bigger fires ablaze. Add to that Rihanna's well-known stance on the Kardashian-Jenner family. She's never tried to hide her skepticism, and you get an ongoing hostility that's as real as it is perplexing. For many, the bigger question has always been, why such strong animosity? Celebrities trade subtle jabs all the time, so it's odd that Rihanna would single out Kendall so consistently. The simplest answer might be that Rihanna feels Kendall embodies the ultimate Nepo baby, living off family fame while Rihanna had to claw her way up from nothing. If there's one thing Rihanna cherishes, it's the pride of hustle. Seeing Kendall waltz into top modeling gigs and high-profile events without the same struggle may have rubbed Rihanna the wrong way. Tension only gets worse with a romantic twist, and rumor has it that's exactly what happened between Kendall and A$AP Rocky. It wasn't the typical short-lived celebrity fling either, at least not from the outside looking in. They were spotted together multiple times, traveling, hanging out at clubs, and attending the same events. One particularly telling moment was their appearance at the Met Gala. Generally, you don't show up at such a massively exclusive event with someone you've only texted once or twice. The Met Gala is all about making statements, and showing up side by side indicates a level of closeness. This relationship, real or rumored, easily could have overlapped with Rihanna's own timeline with Rocky. The dates get muddy, but fans love to connect the dots. Did Kendall remain an ongoing presence in Rocky's life? Did Rihanna feel suspicious every time Kendall's name popped up? There's no official statement, but rumor mills have churned out theories for years that Rihanna disliked Kendall precisely because she believed the model never fully let go of Rocky. Some fans even whisper that Kendall tried to reconnect with Rocky after he started dating Rihanna, fueling tension and snapping Rihanna's patience. Shade comes in many forms, and Rihanna is a master of them all. Sometimes it's obvious, an eye roll, a dismissive laugh, a stinging comeback on social media. Other times, it's more subtle, like simply refusing to grace an event with her presence if Kendall is involved. Certain sources claim Rihanna went to extremes to keep Kendall, and sometimes the entire Kardashian-Jenner squad, at a distance during major functions. One rumor that made the rounds was that Rihanna tried to bar them from the Met Gala altogether, though that might be a stretch. Still, it wouldn't be shocking if she at least expressed dissatisfaction with seeing them there. Fans have recounted plenty of awkward encounters. One alleged eyewitness story claims that Rihanna once made a loud remark about needing curves to pull off a particular outfit, then laughed in Kendall's direction. While it's hard to verify these accounts, they match the singer's reputation for to-the-point honesty. If Rihanna has a problem, she doesn't pretend otherwise. Add in how she publicly supported her friend Jordan Dunn when the Victoria's Secret fashion show replaced her with Kendall, and you have a mosaic of small incidents that paint a bigger picture. In Rihanna's world, messing with her friends is the same as messing with her, and Kendall often found herself on the wrong side of that line. A$AP Rocky's name has become central to this narrative, but not just because of any potential romance with Kendall. He's now facing a situation that could change his life forever. Allegations involving a firearm and an altercation with a former friend. According to prosecutors, Rocky got into a heated dispute with fellow A$AP mob member A$AP Relly. The confrontation escalated to the point where shots were reportedly fired. The victim ended up grazed, though not severely injured. What makes this case particularly explosive are claims that it was all premeditated. If the prosecutors and Relly's team prove Rocky lured his former friend to a secluded spot to settle a score, it ceases to be a spur-of-the-moment brawl and becomes a calculated attack. Video evidence is rumored to exist, suggesting Rocky pulled a gun. Even if the footage doesn't show the actual trigger being pulled, the act of brandishing a weapon can be enough to sway a jury. Rocky's predicament worsened in April 2022 when he was arrested at LAX following months of investigation. This was no small matter. Authorities had built a case, and the possibility of Rocky serving up to 24 years in prison started looking real. His legal team maintains that the gun was fake and that the incident has been exaggerated. But Relly's testimony is damning, especially now that he claims Rocky threatened to end his life in that moment. Even the best legal strategy often relies on taking a plea deal when it's offered, especially if it means drastically reduced time behind bars. Prosecutors reportedly presented Rocky with a deal. If he pleaded guilty to one felony count, he'd get a short jail sentence, possibly just 3 months served with good behavior. For a man looking at nearly a quarter-century in prison, you'd think that would be a no-brainer. But Rocky refused. That single choice has left legal experts and fans alike scratching their heads. It's a gamble that could either pay off if he's fully acquitted or destroy his entire future. He'd be missing his children's formative years, elementary school, high school graduations, everything. Rihanna, as supportive as she might be, might not stick around if he's behind bars for 2 decades. The notion that he'd willingly roll the dice rather than accept a guaranteed lesser penalty has turned the trial into a real-life drama with extremely high stakes. From Kendall's perspective, pure speculation, this might seem like the universe finally dealing a dose of karma to a couple who spurned her. Some corners of the internet are convinced she's quietly gloating over the predicament, though she'd never say it publicly. In the celebrity world, revenge is rarely a flashy display. It's more like a subtle satisfaction that the tables have turned. If Kendall truly felt humiliated or belittled by Rihanna and Rocky for years, she might see his trial as proof that no one is invincible. Yet, no matter how many times Rihanna has thrown shade or refused to back down in feuds, a looming prison sentence for Rocky would be devastating for her. They share children together. She might be a billionaire mogul, but co-parenting from behind thick prison walls is a nightmare scenario. The emotional toll alone is massive, not to mention the endless media scrutiny that would overshadow her achievements in music, fashion, and beauty. Rihanna has always been known for her independence, but even a self-made superstar might find it daunting to handle everything while her partner faces locked doors. Public sympathy might initially flow her way, but in the cutthroat environment of showbiz, sympathy often morphs into tabloid speculation. Could this tarnish her brand? Could it push her into a more reclusive lifestyle? The weight of it all could test her resilience in unprecedented ways. At the same time, some fans speculate that if Rocky truly faces a long prison term, Rihanna might cut ties eventually. She's fiercely loyal, but she's also practical and protective of her own future. Add to that any lingering fears she might have about Kendall's presence if Rocky remains a part of her social circle. Indeed, the entire legal fiasco doesn't just test the relationship between Rihanna and Rocky. It also stirs up old rumors involving Kendall, ensuring the feud remains fresh in everyone's minds. Kendall has never been as vocal about her personal feuds as some of her sisters. She often tries to maintain an aura of low-key sophistication until events push her to respond in subtle ways, typically through cryptic social media posts or pointed photos. Whether or not she's directly throwing jabs, fans frequently interpret her actions as sly winks at her critics. In private, Kendall might be thinking her one-time fling with Rocky dodged a bullet, no pun intended. If she'd stayed with him, imagine the public fallout she'd face right now. Then again, some fans suspect she may still hold a candle for him or, at the very least, keep an eye on how he and Rihanna treat her in public. It's no secret she was once part of his circle, and old bonds can linger, whether as camaraderie or unresolved tension. If there's any truth to rumors of Kendall's satisfaction over Rocky's predicament, it might come from years of feeling overshadowed. She doesn't talk about it openly, but gossip columns say she feels overshadowed by her more headline-grabbing sisters, overshadowed by more respected supermodels, overshadowed by the entire idea that she got a free ride in the fashion industry. Meanwhile, Rihanna soared to the top on sheer determination. It's no surprise Kendall might carry a chip on her shoulder, eager for some cosmic balancing act. So, what happens if Rocky is found guilty? The immediate outcome is straightforward: a potentially long prison sentence, a massive blow to his career, and an upheaval of Rihanna's carefully built empire. The long-term effects, however, could be even more unpredictable. Would Rihanna eventually resent him for dragging her into this legal quagmire? Would public sympathy for Rihanna transform into condemnation of Rocky's alleged behavior? And where does Kendall fall in this scenario? If she truly blames Rihanna for humiliating her in front of millions, or if she's convinced Rihanna looked down on her from day one, this might be the moment she's been waiting for. A part of the public could switch sides, feeling that Rihanna and Rocky aren't the golden power couple they appeared to be. If the internet loves anything, it's a shocking twist in the storyline of A-listers who seemed untouchable. Yet, there's also a flip side. If Rocky somehow dodges conviction, it might validate Rihanna's faith in him and further isolate Kendall. Fans loyal to Rihanna could pounce on Kendall for ever daring to question the singer's romance. The trial is a pivotal crossroads, not just for a single couple, but for the entire dynamic of these intersecting celebrity circles. When you look past the headlines and alleged tweets, you find a cautionary tale about pride, fame, and the fragility of relationships in the public eye. Rihanna and Kendall Jenner might stand on different sides of the stage, one a global pop and business phenomenon, the other a reality star turned top-tier model. Yet they're both navigating a world that grants them almost limitless privilege while also magnifying their mistakes to an unforgiving degree. A$AP Rocky, for his part, exemplifies the vulnerability of success. One moment, he's performing for sold-out crowds and boasting a high-profile relationship with Rihanna. The next, his entire future dangles by a legal thread because of a moment of violence that might have been avoided. In a strange twist, the outcome might confirm or challenge the notion that Kendall's patience has finally paid off, if she's truly waiting in the wings for an "I told you so" moment. Still, we can't ignore the possibility that the feud itself has been overblown by social media. Sometimes, celebrities are simply indifferent to each other, and fans mistake that indifference for hate. Other times, there really is bad blood, but it's overshadowed by bigger issues, like a major criminal case. Yet the repeating pattern of public snubs and biting remarks is hard to dismiss. What started as an offhand tweet and a few cold stares has evolved into a tangled web of feuds, romantic speculation, and a life-changing legal battle. Rihanna's icy attitude toward Kendall might have begun as a simple clash of personalities, or something deeper involving A$AP Rocky's past connections. Regardless, it set the tone for a multi-year standoff, complete with pointed public snubs and behind-the-scenes maneuvering. Now, the spotlight rests squarely on A$AP Rocky's trial and the looming possibility of him facing decades behind bars. Kendall Jenner, who once seemed overshadowed by Rihanna's star power, might find herself in a position of quiet vindication. Or maybe it's all just a swirl of rumors, and she's too busy booking photo shoots and runways to care. The truth is known only to Kendall herself. Yet one thing is sure, the events unfolding around Rocky will have seismic effects on Rihanna's personal life, career, and public persona. Even if she hates Kendall, she has far bigger issues to worry about at this stage. Whether justice or karma or just bad luck, the trial's outcome could redefine the entire narrative, tipping the scales in ways that may shock everyone involved. Where does all this leave you, the onlooker? Perhaps asking if this saga is a glimpse into how petty rivalries and hidden resentments can spiral once real-life or near-life consequences appear. Fame adds weight to every decision, and pride can cost more than anyone anticipates. So, is Kendall Jenner finally getting the last laugh? Or is she merely a bystander to the collapse of a once fiery romance and the potential downfall of a man she once cared about? The answer might lie in the next court date, the next social media post, or the next swirl of gossip. Until then, the tension remains thick, the stakes remain high, and the outcome is anyone's guess. Ultimately, the most intriguing part isn't just who wins this feud. It's the unraveling effect fame, pride, and personal history can have when everything collides at the worst possible moment. The show isn't over yet. There might be more twists ahead that nobody, least of all Rihanna, Kendall, or Rocky, sees coming. If there's one certainty, it's that every new development will be devoured by an audience that's equal parts horrified and fascinated by the downfall of public icons. For those who believe in cosmic justice, seeing ASAP Rocky on the brink of a life-altering conviction could seem like fate punishing him for whatever transpired with Kendall. But maybe this isn't as simple as Kendall wins, Rihanna loses. Real life is messy, eh? Kendall might experience fleeting satisfaction, but could also realize how quickly fortunes change in Hollywood. If Kendall does feel triumphant, she's likely to keep it low profile. The Kardashians excel at letting subtext do the talking, dropping cryptic quotes and letting fans interpret them. After all, an outright statement like, "I'm glad they're in trouble," would cause public relations havoc. Instead, she might post a glamorous photo with a coy caption, letting followers make the connection. Before you know it, the media picks it up and spins it into a story about Kendall's revenge. Rihanna, on the other hand, might focus on supporting Rocky as best she can, or she might distance herself, especially if the evidence grows damning. It's a precarious spot, being forced to choose between loyalty to a partner and safeguarding your own future. Rihanna's brand, personal well-being, and family dynamics hang in the balance. This scenario is essentially a no-win situation if the trial goes poorly. In the end, it all circles back to the public's fascination with these larger-than-life figures. They move through a world where private spats become tabloid headlines, and every personal decision can spark a viral news cycle. The tension between Kendall and Rihanna might not matter to the average person, except that so many relate to feeling overshadowed, undermined, or belittled by someone more powerful. Celebrity feuds are magnified reflections of everyday emotions. Is it petty? Perhaps. But it's also compelling because it reminds people that even superstars wrestle with jealousy, pride, and that lingering desire to come out on top. And when the drama gets this intense, complete with potential prison time and rumored romantic entanglements, it's almost impossible to turn away. As the trial churns on, updates keep dripping in. Some days it looks grim for Rocky, other days, there's a flicker of hope. Each twist in the case brings a fresh wave of speculation about Rihanna's reaction. Is she doubling down on her support or regretting not urging him to accept the plea deal? Meanwhile, fans watch Kendall's social media and every news snippet for clues that she might be cheering from the sidelines. A final verdict looms on the horizon. If Rocky goes free, expect him and Rihanna to celebrate triumphantly and possibly throw more subtle, or not so subtle, shade at Kendall and her family. If he's found guilty, it's an entirely different story. Heartbreak, separation, and a crater left in Rihanna's personal life. And, in the background, a silent question. Does Kendall Jenner feel satisfaction, pity, or something in between? Maybe the real takeaway is that grudges can linger for years, no matter how rich or famous you become. They can color every interaction, every event, and every chance meeting until a crisis brings them to a head. For Rihanna, Kendall, and Rocky, that crisis has arrived. The only question left is how they'll handle the fallout and whether their reputations and relationships can survive the storm.